Warm greetings from the high 10. Who is Vicky White? This is a very baffling story deriving out of Alabama, and I'm going to give you a little bit of information this evening because we're going into day 7 of a manhunt of Vicky White, a corrections officer, and Casey White, an inmate. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to use my phone briefly. Thank you all so much.
All right, we have some new images to share with you tonight, just into the newsroom of Vicky White and Casey White. She's the corrections officer and he is the inmate who are on the run. These were just released by the U.S. Marshal's office, showing a different appearance to the duo. So you can see Casey with tattoos all over his chest, all over his arms. He's bald in that photo, and you can get a closer look at what his tattoos actually look like. The photos, of course, of Vicky show her with brown hair, so be looking for that as these two are on the run. She has kind of that platinum blonde hair, and a lot of the other pictures you've seen there, again, more of Casey's tattoos. This is a story that we have been all over since Monday when the manhunt really began. They disappeared on Friday. Tomorrow night, right here on Prime, we have exclusive new reporting of this prison break that is not what it seems at all.
This is not the Vicky White we know.
He's the worst case scenario for a fugitive hunt.
The best thing Vicky can do is run, go to the nearest phone and call 911 and turn yourself in. He would have brought him right down this hallway. We will find you. You better be looking over your shoulder.
These two are dangerous. Call 911 if you see them. Join us tomorrow night if they haven't been caught by then, right here on News Nation Prime for an hour.
Thank you. Those are the photos. I'm going to turn my camera off just briefly. Thank you all so much for joining me. Those are the photos that they have released of what she may look like. Dark hair short with bangs, dark hair long with bangs. Tomorrow there will be an hour-long special on News Nation, so please tune in to the said content if you want to hear what they have to say. I believe they will be talking to a son of one of the victims of Mr. Casey White. I've also brought you commentary from the son who's shocked at this situation that has derived out of Alabama pertaining to Mr. White and him being on the run with the aid of a corrections officer. I will now play you more content pertaining to this baffling story. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Second source, will be WHNT. All this is local information just uploaded a few hours ago. This was uploaded 4 hours ago. Thanks for joining me. This is News 19, WHNT. Thanks for joining me. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much.
Outside the Lauderdale County Courthouse tonight with more. Addison.
Emily, Sheriff Rick Singleton tells us that the day before Vicky White helped Casey White escape from the Lauderdale County Jail, she checked into a hotel near Florence Boulevard. We now know that that hotel is within walking distance of the parking lot where they eventually left Vicky's patrol car and seemingly vanished into thin air.
This is just basically strictly my own opinion. I think she just didn't want to have to face her mother that morning, knowing that she was going to leave.
The day before the escape, Vicky White checked into this hotel near Florence Boulevard. At 9:41 the next morning, she escorted inmate Casey White to her patrol car. 8 minutes later, at 9:49, surveillance footage shows Vicky's car turning onto Cox Creek Parkway from Huntsville Road, where they would eventually abandon the vehicle. Sheriff Singleton says that this is the parking lot where the two subjects dropped off Vicky's patrol car, only about a half a mile away from the hotel that she stayed in the night before. The U.S. Marshals Service said that after Vicky and Casey left this area, they were last seen in Rogersville later that day. However, in another interview with Sheriff Singleton, he says that local authorities have been unable to verify that.
I don't know that they were spotted in Rogersville on Friday. My understanding is that the vehicle was seen in Rogersville prior to Friday.
Regardless of the reports on Friday, Singleton says that he no longer believes that the two subjects are in the area.
I don't think they're local. You know, of course, they could be right down the street. You know how that is. If I knew where they were at, that's where we would be. But my gut feeling is that they're out of this area.
I'll have more information on the status of the manhunt and what that investigation looks like more at 6:30. For now, though, live in Lauderdale County, Addison Woman, News 19.
All right, that's my second source, News 19. I will now go into my third source. It's very baffling information. So in that information, you hear of her being at a hotel. Why did she check into a hotel a day before? So she goes into her job the next day, which they show you the video at 9:41, escorting Mr. Casey White into the police car. Could it be that she didn't want to face her mother? So what are we saying? She got off of work on a Thursday, or saw her mother on Thursday, talked to her mother, ate with her mother, looked at her dog, walked her dog. But then the next day, which would have been Friday, she stayed, let's say, in a hotel Thursday night. Let me get this correct. Let's say Thursday, she got off from work, saw her mother, ate dinner with her, talked to her briefly, made her think everything was okay, because from my understanding, that's what the mother has said. Everything seemed okay with her. But then on Friday, she stayed in a hotel Thursday night, mind you, after seeing her mother, let's say. Checked out of the hotel, then went into her job, pretending everything was okay, and escorted Mr. Casey White into the police car Friday morning. Hello, Margaret. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. So 19 News, I've played your content. News Nation, we're going to go back to 19 News again, pertaining to Day 7 of Lauderdale County Manhunt. Thank you so much for joining me. Hi, Margaret. Hello, everybody. Hello, Marilyn. Hello, Jackie, Flora May. Thank you all.
Continues to learn more about the manhunt for Lauderdale County jailer Vicky White and inmate Casey White.
Now, the two have been missing since they left the jail last Friday morning. Casey White has a pending murder case. One of the county district attorneys saying must be tried once he is recaptured. News 19 investigative reporter Dallas Parker joining us now live in Lauderdale County with the latest. Dallas.
Right, Jerry. District Attorney Chris Connolly tells me he's eager to try that capital murder case, of course, in the death of Connie Ridgway, but there have been a number of issues with that case thus far, including some issues with the attorney. But Connolly tells me that's what actually led to him being transferred from Donaldson Correctional Facility in Bessemer back to Lauderdale County here in the jail back in February. Now, Connolly says for some time, White's attorneys were told they could not take a computer or a hard drive into the prison to discuss his case with him. Connolly said that hindered the process significantly, to the point the defense requested he be transferred to the county jail in Lauderdale County so that they could prepare his case. Now, the judge ordered his transport in February 2022 in anticipation of an April trial, but that trial date was later continued until June 13th. Now, looking ahead, Connolly tells me the June trial will likely be delayed further by the chaos of this escape. However, he says once the two are located, there will be a price to pay, not only for Casey White, but also Vicky White.
He's going to be charged with escape in the first degree, which is a B felony. I forget how many priors he's got, but and she can be charged as an accomplice to that as well. Plus, there's a separate charge against her for aiding in the escape.
Of course, for Casey White, that new charge would be in addition to this capital murder charge in the course of a robbery. He was scheduled to go to trial again, like I said, June 13th initially. Now, the DA did provide some additional insight into this pending capital case, as well as the legitimacy of Casey's alleged confession in the death of Connie Ridgway in Rogersville. We'll get into some of those details tonight, News 19 at 5. For now, reporting live from Lauderdale County, I'm Dallas Parker, News 19.
All right, that's source number 3. So you now get a little information pertaining to how he got to be in Lauderdale. He's facing trial. Came from Bessemer County, February. So this is a short while. So you're only talking about March, April, May, not even 3 months. So when did they actually plan this escape? Because we now know that she's had contact with the inmate originally 2 years ago, and then started visiting him in jail, in prison elsewhere. He then gets transferred here permanently for trial February of this year. So that is a very short window to come up with this idea, enact this idea. There's also commentary that perhaps she has practiced this. That is coming from the sheriff as of late. I don't know what has given him that notion that she did a dry run of this, because in order to have a dry run, you'd have to have the inmate in tow with you. And if you had the inmate in tow 2 other times, you would have already done it and left. You see where I'm going with that? So I don't understand what they mean by that makes no sense to me. I really don't understand that how that would have come to be. I'm going to now bring you some more content that I just found from 3 days ago. Family of murder victim speaks up following Casey White's escape. Let's see.
It's Friday when he was being transported for a mental health evaluation. The guard transferring him to the court broke policy by not using a second officer. Casey White and the deputy, Vicky White, no relation, have not been seen since. Casey serving 75 years for attempted murder, kidnapping, robbery, and burglary out of Limestone County. WVTM 13 has learned he tried to kill his ex-girlfriend in 2015. He also held 2 of her roommates hostage at gunpoint. Everyone made it out of that situation unhurt. White is also accused of killing someone else in 2015. And tonight, we're hearing from her family.
This is pretty shocking, I have to admit. But at the same time, if he doesn't happen to make it to trial, I mean, he's definitely a threat to the public.
WVTM's Maddie Davis with more from the family tonight as the search for Casey White becomes more and more desperate.
7 years ago, Austin Williams lost his mother, Connie Ridgway, after she was brutally stabbed in her home in Rogersville.
My mother, she was just such a nice person, kind of everybody's friend. This is the last person you expect anything to happen to.
For years, it was a cold case until 2020 when Casey White confessed to the crime. As White sat in the Lauderdale County Jail, Williams felt there was justice for his mother and awaited the day he would go on trial. Now that hope is gone after White escaped Friday morning.
It's shocking, and it's just like you just wonder how it's possible, because we really wanted it to go to trial just so that we could hear more of the story.
He escaped with a corrections officer, Vicky White, who hasn't been seen or heard from since.
Turn yourself in before this gets any worse. No one else needs to get hurt. You need to turn yourself in as soon as possible.
Since Vicky White had a handgun, authorities assume Casey White is armed and dangerous. Williams has a warning for everyone.
Have someone like Casey, who's 6'6", 250 pounds, come into her apartment and stab her to death. That's the kind of person this is. This is the person you need to look out for.
The Lauderdale County Sheriff's Office will hold a press conference Monday morning to update on the search for Casey White. Until he is found, Williams holds on to hope for the day his mother will finally get justice. In Birmingham, Maddie Davis, WVTM 13.
All right, that's my third source. WVTM 13 News. You hear from the son. That is the son of the victim who he stabbed. Why did he stab her? Why did he stab this lady? 2015. Why did he hold the ex-girlfriend hostage alongside family members? What is the motivation with this person? Very crazy information. At the beginning of this live, I showed you pictures of what she may look like with short hair, dark and bangs, long hair, dark and bangs. I also showed you video of his tattoos. I doubt that you will see him out with those tattoos because naturally he will be covered up in a t-shirt or shirt. And I doubt that you will even see them together. If indeed she needs to go out and shop, he would probably use her to be the one to go get food, this and that, if he has not already done away with her, discarded her, which I'm hoping he has not. But many people feel like possibly that's what he would do, because in order to stay on the run, you need to be underground, not visible. Carrying somebody else with you, a child, whomever, It's just too easy to be spotted because that's what you're going to be looking for right now is a shorter woman and a taller guy. So if indeed they are still together, I can see she being the one doing the shopping for toiletries, food, etc. And let's go there. Did she also buy up things for him, such as clothes, shoes, toiletry, shampoo, deodorant, food, canned goods? See, you don't know. Because if she's already prepared for this by selling her home, we don't know how long it was when she started preparing for this escape. Did she also prepare as far as, like I said, a getaway place to hide out? Because she already bought the car. And did she also buy food, toiletry items, disguises? Because we don't really know how long it's been since she and he planned this event, because he just got to the jail in February, because there was no guarantee of when he was going to get to the jail to stay so he could prepare for his trial in June, which is now going to be postponed. So possibly this is just a couple of month old planning. And the issue of him being tried, some people may say, well, it's kind of premature to be talking about he's got to be tried immediately. True. You got to find him first to be worrying about trying him. Are you all just saying that because you know you messed up by having a corrections officer help free him, and you want to make sure he don't get gone a second time? So you're hoping you find him and get a rush on him going to trial. Well, for your sake, Sheriff, we hope you do find him so he doesn't harm anybody else and get him to trial. But some would judge that commentary. You're rushing it now. You want to get him to trial because you realize, I think, that you messed up. And naturally, nobody would know that a corrections officer would aid an inmate. Who would know that? And as I said in my live earlier, somebody's got to stand account for what happened. Sorry, it's storming here in East Tennessee. Somebody's got to stand account for what she did, how that came to be. So that's why I said with this issue of a dry run, how could there be a dry run beforehand? Because if she was able to do a dry run with him in the car, they would have been gone earlier. Very strange information. Very, very strange information. Got to make sure I get everything uploaded to you guys.
Somewhere. U.S. Marshals have shared this image, and I want you to take a look at this because this gives you an idea of their height difference. So Casey, again, 6'9", Vicky about a foot shorter, and then you see a standard door frame there. So they're standing next to that standard door frame, just going to give you some perspective on how tall he is compared to her.
All right. Very tall person. So 6'9" to a very, very short person. As I said, I could see it only being she out running around, if indeed she's still around with the suspect. And I also showed you videos of what they think she could look like with dark hair, short or long. I'm trying to bring you all the said information pertaining to this very baffling story. Okay. Lord have mercy. Here's the information of the 3-day dry run. WAAY TV 31 News. Very weird information. So as I put on my community board, what is the evidence exactly?
office is reopening an investigation into the death of Casey White's ex-girlfriend in 2008. Now, this comes as the hunt for Casey White, the murder suspect, and for the female jail guard continues.
The investigation involves the death of Christy Shelton, who was shot to death with a sawed-off shotgun, but her death at the time was ruled a suicide.
News 19's Archie Snowden has been following this investigation and now has more.
Okay, thank you, Emily. At the time of the death of 31-year-old Christy Lynn Shelton, police say that Casey White was at the home at the time of her death. But after an investigation, he was ruled out as a suspect. But the family says that they never believed that. And we're asking questions about exactly what Casey Shelton was doing at the time she was killed. Casey Shelton was dating at the time, and her family says that they've taken to social media to push for a reinvestigation into this case. In a video sent to News 19 by the daughter of Christy Shelton, says that when Casey White escaped with the assistance of prison guard Vicky White, it opened up a range of uncontrollable emotions for her and the family who are seeking justice for their mother.
So, Casey White was with my mom the night that she committed suicide. Nothing was really ever investigated. I don't even know if they took him in for questioning. So maybe this video will fall in the right hands of someone that can actually make a difference, or look into it more, maybe investigate. I'm not really sure, but
7 years after the death of Shelton, Casey White shot his ex-girlfriend during a crime spree, sending him to prison for 75 years. Now, Casey White remains on the run. More of his dark, violent past comes into light. He is still on the run. The spokesperson for the Limestone County Sheriff's Department says that they are in contact and communicating with the family to open up this reinvestigation of this case. For now, we're live. Archie Snowden, News 19.
All right. I've played you several sources. That's News 19. So now what are we talking about? Something new to add to the madness and mystery of Vicky White and Mr. Casey White. I brought you his background. I will bring it again during this live. Who is Vicky White? Who is this woman who has allowed herself to get in the mix of this mess, entanglement with a murderer? So now we have new information about a 31-year-old woman who committed suicide. He was dating the woman at the time. So as she said, what was he doing at the time that the woman was dead? Was he the one to report her dead? It was ruled a homicide, but is it the truth? They never believed she killed herself. Was there a thorough investigation? Let's go there. Was there a thorough investigation of this woman? This is more baffling information coming out of this about this case. It seems like now it's starting to grow legs, tentacles. So I want to recap everything I've played. Let's see. I brought you information about her checking into a hotel a day before going into work. I brought you information about day 7 of the Lauderdale County Manhunt. Pictures of what she may look like by News Nation. Lauderdale County DA says that White must be tried after recapture. I brought you that set information. Also, the height factor. He's 6'9". She's, I believe, 5 feet, about a foot difference. And also now, sources are saying Vicky White tested planned 3 days before a successful escape, which I don't know where they got the proof to that. But this is just very, very crazy information. It's crazy, crazy information. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to the channel, $BigAngie129 Cash App. I'm now going to bring you information pertaining to Mr. Casey White. Hello, Joel, honey. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you hear some thunder in the background, it is storming here in the high 10. Thank you so much. I also will play you a doctor's rendering who has not diagnosed either party, but he will give you a synopsis of why he thinks this situation has come to fruition. ABC News is the source. The inmate who escaped from a Florence, Alabama jail with a corrections officer last Friday was awaiting trial on capital murder charges, but whose charges were just the latest in a litany of other offenses in his past, according to authorities in multiple states. Inmate Casey White, 38, and Lauderdale County Assistant Director of Corrections Vicky White, 56, who are not related, should be considered dangerous, the U.S. Marshals Service warned. Authorities said they believe Vicky White willingly participating in the escape from the Lauderdale County facility. The pair may be armed with an AR-15 rifle, handguns, and a shotgun, the U.S. Marshals Service said. At the time of his escape, Casey White was facing 2 counts of capital murder for the stabbing of Ronnie Ridgway, a crime he allegedly confessed to, according to the U.S. Marshals Service. Ridgway, an Alabama mother, was found dead in her living room October 23, 2015, in an apparent murder for hire, Al.com reported. He could face the death penalty if convicted, Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton said. We really need to get Casey White behind bars again as soon as possible before someone else is hurt, Ridgway's son, Austin Williams, told ABC News this week. Casey White was previously convicted of a 2015 crime spree involving a home invasion, carjacking, and a police chase, according to the U.S. Marshals Service. After a crime spree in Alabama, Casey White stole an SUV and drove to a rest stop in Giles County, Tennessee, where he allegedly tried to carjack a semi-truck, Giles County Sheriff Shane Hunter said. Casey White allegedly opened fire, but no one was hit, Hunter said. Casey White then tried to carjack a woman and fired shots into her car, the sheriff said. She was shot and survived, he said. He then allegedly carjacked a man at gunpoint and led police on the chase. So now you're talking about 3 people after him trying to attempted kidnapping the girlfriend and those said people. So these are 3 extra parties. He then allegedly carjacked the man at gunpoint, led police on the chase. The sheriff said Casey White fired at police and was later arrested, Hunter said. So now you have to count that he shot at the police and went on a chase. Lord have mercy. Casey White was sentenced to 75 years for the 2015 crime spree, according to the U.S. Marshals Service. He has also been convicted of trying to kill an ex-girlfriend and kidnap her roommates. Okay, Al.com reported that. The U.S. Marshals warns that after his arrest in 2015, Casey White made threats against his ex-girlfriend and her sister, saying if he ever got out, he would kill them. Now that he's on the run, the U.S. Marshals said authorities have spoken to Casey White's potential targets and have taken appropriate protective actions. Casey White previously planned an escape from the Lauderdale County Detention Center in the fall of 2020. But officials thwarted the plot before he could attempt it, Singleton said. When officials got word of the plot, they found a homemade knife in his possession and learned that he was planning to take a hostage, the sheriff said. Casey White was subsequently transferred to a state prison where he remained until February 2022, when he returned to the Lauderdale County facility for court appearances related to Ridgway's murder, the sheriff said. Vicky White and Casey White disappeared on Friday morning after Vicky White allegedly told her colleagues that she was taking Casey White to the Lauderdale County Courthouse for a mental health evaluation, the sheriff said. He didn't have a court appearance scheduled, Singleton said. Vicky White also allegedly told her colleagues that she was going to seek medical attention after dropping the inmate off at court because she wasn't feeling well. But Singleton said his office confirmed that no appointment was made. Vicky White planned to retire Friday. The day of the escape was her last day, the sheriff said. The pair may be driving a 2007 orange or copper Ford Edge with minor damage to the left back bumper, according to the U.S. Marshals Service. Casey White was described by authorities as 6 feet 9 inches and approximately 330 pounds, with brown hair, hazel eyes, and numerous tattoos, including some affiliated with the Alabama-based white supremacist prison gang Southern Brotherhood, the U.S. Marshals Service said. Vicky White was described by authorities as 5 feet 5, approximately 145 pounds, with brown eyes and blonde hair. Though the U.S. Marshals Service said Thursday that she may have tinted her hair a darker shade. She was also described as reportedly having a waddling gait. ABC is the source. So we've got a crime spree in 15, threatening the girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend and her family, that he would kill them if he got out, an attempt to break out of that Lauderdale jail in 2020 of the fall, which assumingly she was working there then. How did they get wind that he wanted to break out? How did they know he had made a weapon? So see, people do talk in prison and people do talk in jail. For those who think people don't snitch. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They talk. That's how rumors and gossip gets around. Now, if somebody who decides they want to do something to them, that's a whole nother subject. But people do talk in prison and people do repeat things in prison and people do tell things in prisons and jails. This is a baffling story. He's estimated at 330 pounds, 6'9". She's 5'5", 145 pounds. Major difference. Darker hair, perhaps. Shorter hair. Who's to say? As I said, we're still in the method of COVID, so they can still be out hiding well, wearing masks, hats, sunglasses. Who is Vicky White? How did she come to be this infamous woman aiding an inmate, now fugitive, and a fugitive herself? It is said that he was supposed to go to trial June 13th. Is that the reason why they concocted this plan? If indeed it is a joint mutual decision, which I do believe it is, but I wanted to know who came up with the idea. When did the plan come to motion to get him out of there? He just got to this jail in February. So once again, when did they plan it? Husband just passed away in the winter this year. So if indeed she was actually married to him, because some of you are saying they are divorced or stayed friends, that doesn't really matter to me. If the news reports that they were married, that's all I have to go on. The point is, if she was legally married to him, then that means she was having an emotional entanglement while married 2 years ago in 2020. They have information that she went to see him. So who told that? Where's the evidence that they found to say that she went to see him in prison several times and also used aliases? And as I said in my last slide, what are the aliases that she used? Did she use fraudulent ID? Because she's in the business of law officials, it wouldn't take much for her to get fake identification. And that means somebody else is out there helping and aiding her to do wrong just to visit an inmate. Why would you want to help? But maybe she found somebody that was in that business of, as we call it, ID making. Is she willing to go down in flames with him if indeed there's a shootout? Because one, we don't even know where they are. We don't know if they're both still alive. But in case it's a shootout between Mr. Casey White and law officials, is this woman willing to go down with her lover? Because let's say they're in a camper, apartment, house. Law officials get wind of the said location. Vicky White, are you willing to go down with your lover in a shootout? Will you also shoot back? He has shown that he is very violent because he stole automobiles and things to get to safety in 2015. He also shot back at the police. So you're talking about 4 or more entities in a crime spree in 2015. So it shows he doesn't care about anybody. He doesn't have a problem with going on the run. He doesn't have a problem with stealing people's vehicles. He doesn't have a problem with shooting you. He doesn't have a problem with shooting law officials. He doesn't care. He has nothing to lose. He has nothing to lose. And her aiding him out of jail and going on the run with him shows that Vicky White, 56, has nothing to lose as well. She forfeited her life, left behind an elderly mother and dog to show the world that they were not important. Her own livelihood, reputation wasn't important to fall in behind a man she does not know. And you have to ask yourself, who the hell is this woman that she's willing to go down with him, knowing he has murdered other people? And now we have relatives coming forward saying he's possibly murdered another woman who was 31 years of age that he was dating. They deemed her death a suicide. But as I showed you audio in this video, the daughter believes the mother did not kill herself. So could it be he got away with another murder of a 31-year-old and made it look like she killed herself? Where was he when she killed herself? This is some mess. If you'd like to join the panel, the link is in the chat. If you want to give your opinion pertaining to Vicky White, Casey White, the title of this video is Who is Vicky White? How did Vicky White come to be this infamous character standing at 5'5"? Never been in trouble with the law, worked for the law, had no blemishes on her record. But is it perhaps she got a pass? Because if these people have been gossiping in the jail about her behavior with him since he's been there in February, why didn't it get back to her superiors that there may have been some hanky-panky going on between she and Casey? Or did they just say, oh, it's no big deal? Well, it is a big deal now because she aided him out of that damn jail. She didn't follow protocol with 2 officers escorting an inmate out into a car. Some think maybe he should have been handcuffed from the back. If he's dangerous, perhaps so. Shackled from the handcuffs to the feet. They should have been connected, someone said. It's too late for that now. Excuse me. See, this is what happens in life. People love to go back in time to say, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I saw that in a comment section on one of the news channels. It's too late for that now. What somebody should have done. Somebody should have said something. Yeah, somebody should have been looking at the books for the mental health evaluation. Was it on the up and up? Because now they're saying there was no such appointment. Well, then what was in the books that day to get him out? Had to be something. The 3-day dry run. What is the evidence to that? Because as I said, if I've been planning this for a week, 2, 3, however long, a dry run means you would have had to have the inmate in tow. I would have already left earlier. Not on Friday, but beforehand. How long have they planned this? Because as I said, he just got there in February. So he's been there a short while. Did he recant his confession of the 2015 murder of Miss Conway because he had been in cahoots with Miss Vicky White and he figured this is his way out? Possibly facing the death penalty of that said woman, he decided, I'm not getting ready to stay in prison, and nor am I going to face the death penalty. I'm going to find a way to get the hell out of this mess. So I'm going to say, no, I didn't kill her. Move me up to Lauderdale. I'll be a good boy. But he's not a good boy. He's far from a good boy. Because had he been a good boy, we wouldn't be talking about him. This is some very disturbing information because we have to ask ourselves the ultimate question, as I told you. Nothing is fascinating about Casey White. He is just an average white man who's a criminal. There are many people like him, so there's nothing special about him. The real subject is Vicky White because she is the reason he is out free. How did it come to be that this woman fell for this man? What was so special about Casey White that she forfeited her own livelihood to aid him to safety, to freedom? Why? What was so bad about her life that she could have risked getting caught jumping from car to car? Very sick information. How did it come to be that Vicky White aided him out of there? What was so terrible in her life that she was willing to risk her own freedom, reputation, and cut off all ties with family and friends and associates for a murderer? What did he say to her to convince her this was the right thing to do. We won't get caught. Don't worry. I've got it all planned out. Or is this her planning? But as they said, he had planned an escape in the fall of 2020 from the very same jail with a weapon, and his intent was to take a hostage. So that means somebody had to have known all this information. Who was that said person to have told this? See, this is what I'm saying about after the fact. Doesn't really mean anything. He was going to do this. He said he was going to do this. She said she was going to do that. It's too late. They're gone now. And nobody has any idea where they are. Are they in the same state, Alabama? As the sheriff said, he has no clue. If he did, he'd be where they are. But only a fool would still be in the state of Alabama. Only a fool would still be in the deep South. Because naturally that story is going to run rampant in the South first. So people will be on the lookout for a very tall man and a very petite woman. Let's play devil's advocate, for just a second. And excuse my manners with what I'm going to say. Imagine these two have only been visiting each other via prison, sitting across the table from one another. They finally are able to be alone with one another. Were these two satisfied with each other physically, sexually? Yeah, I'm going to say that because, see, it's one thing to anticipate what it's going to be like to be with another human being. If you're just talking on the phone, video chatting, sitting across the table or through a glass booth. But to finally be alone with he or she, you finally get to touch them, smell them up close, see their body parts, their flaws. How was it, Vicky? Casey, were you all pleased with one another when you finally got to your resting place, hiding place? Were you satisfied with the other party? I'm going to go ahead and say that. We're all grown. Because you have to ask that question due to the fact we know or assume they never had sexual relations. Did they ever have sexual relations while he was in Lauderdale jail? Did she ever make a way to take him away from the property and have consensual sex with Mr. Casey White? Because now people are going to ask that as well. Because what people are going to ask, if people were gossiping about these two having special treatment, him getting special treatment, but no proof of sex, anything's possible when you have a lax system. And I do believe next voting time or before, the sheriff will no longer be the sheriff. Because I'm sure there are some displeased people in the town with the sheriff. Because what they're going to say is, you already had to have heard gossip about favoritism for the inmate. What other special treatment favors did he get? How is he able to get out of a damn jail with her? What's the real deal with the fall 2020 attempts and having a shank or whatever? You're not watching your inmates. You're not paying attention to your inmates. And who's to say she didn't aid him in getting a shank in 2020? You better wake up out there, people. Maybe Vicky is not who you think she is. She's not the golden girl. She's not little Bo Peep. She's just as diabolical as Casey White. Nothing more, nothing less. Just a smaller version of Casey White. Because she's had to have known his violent history with the ex-girlfriend and family, shooting at the police, carjacking different people in a crime spree from state to state. And yet this is somebody you would go visit and use fake aliases to visit him. You had to have known what he is and what he's made of. And you didn't care. and you left behind an elderly mother, and you checked into a hotel allegedly the night before checking into work, possibly because you didn't want to face your own mother, knowing you've lied to her, deceived her by planning to get this man out of jail. Why? What is the point? What is the point, Vicky? Why did you do this? And are you satisfied now with your decision to break a man out of jail? And what is going to become of you and Casey White? We don't even know if you're still alive right now. We don't know if he's alive. We don't know where you are. We don't know if he decided to set you up and ditch you, use you as a mule, and then discard you like trash, because he has that mentality. Because anybody that can shoot up people, shoot people, carjack people, shoot at the police, go on a run from the police, he would have no reason to keep you around. And I understand that. Because that's the mindset of a violent criminal. I need the weakest link. I need somebody who will fancy me, listen to me, hear me out. And you were that somebody, Vicky White. And you fell for it. Now, who's to say you weren't the type that made the first move? You fancied him first. Could be. Because we can make all type of accusations against him because he's the criminal. But who's to say you didn't fancy Mr. White first? You made the first move, flirtatious move, commentary. Who's to say? Because in the end, it's not going to even matter who said what to whom first. You two are evenly yoked in madness. You are now a criminal like Mr. White. And how ironic you two have the same last name. 6 degrees of separation. How small the world actually is for an inmate to walk into a jail with the same last name as the corrections officer, and then they get hooked up first time out the gate. She's now visiting him once he goes back to prison. What are the odds? Then he comes back to that prison to go to trial and arraignment and said matters. And now they're entangled as if they're a couple. What are the odds? White and White. Very vicious story. And you have no regard for anybody, Vicky White. So that's why I said you are more diabolical than Casey, because we know what he is capable of. The sick part of the story is that you had been hoodwinking and bamboozling the people around you. You broke trust and oath, and people thought they knew you. You were going to work every day, hiding a dirty secret, a real dirty secret. Fantasizing and ogling a 7-foot man who's a criminal and a murderer. Idolizing being alone with him, slumbering with him, having a fake, fictitious life with him, and only to exact getting him out. It's very interesting. You're cut from the same cloth, Vicky. That's the sad part of the story. That's why I tell people the focus really is you. Because you're the one who nobody anticipated being rogue. We expected him to do whatever because he doesn't want to, one, die in jail, prison, and or face the needle to the arm if convicted for the murder of Connie Ridgway. And you went right along knowing his said crimes. So it doesn't matter what he ever said to you, whispered in your ear, wrote you a letter, called you on a phone. He is a monster because he has no regard for life. So one would have to ask themselves, what the hell have you been thinking all these years pertaining to Casey White? What in God's name could he have said to you to make you think he would not harm you or another human being? You can't be this gullible. But obviously you are. You see, many people have done felonious things for others since the beginning of time. Women have trafficked for men, sold drugs for men, sold their bodies for men, sold their children for men, allowed men to abuse them, rape them, their family members, talk any kind of way to them, physically assault them, verbally abuse them, mentally abuse them, aid them in crimes. This is not the first time, and it won't be the last. Correction officers have been having sexual relations with inmates for years. Vice versa. Many people have abused the system, the judicial system, all the way up, I'm sure, to the highest courts. There's always been some infractions, improprieties, and felonious behavior. It's just a matter of who's going to tell it. Well, now, the cat is out of the bag. That she showed him favoritism by getting him extra food. So now people are going to question what else was going on in this itty-bitty jail. Has she also had relationships with other inmates? Why not? Why not? Who's to say Vicky is a hot mama? She fancies inmates. Always have. Who's to say? Who's to say she's always fancied inmates? So one's going to ask, my goodness, your life is this bland, boring, that you're fancying inmates from the jail to the prison? Why? We understand that you live in small town America. Maybe not a lot of men to your liking. But why in the hell would you want to date something such as Casey White? A man who has no regard for life. A man who was killed, admitted to killing, and then retracted it. Which we already know that was a ruse to get his ass up here to Lauderdale, close to you. And you had no problem. That's the sick part of this story, see. You worked with him initially, 2020. And then you started going to the prison to see him before he got transferred back to Lauderdale where you were currently working. So you were fascinated with him possibly the first time you met him when he came into the jail, to your jail 2 years ago. Why? What was it about Casey White that you were so fascinated with Vicky White? Please enlighten us. Are you watching social media, the news? Are you watching people talk about you and this 7-foot giant? Are you hearing the derogatory things that are coming out of people's mouths that he may hurt you, harm you? Because imagine, as I said yesterday, sitting in a remote area with the 7-foot giant and listening to people say, he may kill her. How in the world could you sit alongside him and look at him and not think he wouldn't hurt you? That you are dead weight, collateral damage? What use does he have of you? Because he doesn't care for life. And one would have to question, why would he all of a sudden grow a heart and care for Vicky White? No way he could have any feelings for you, because he's numb. He's an empty vessel, sociopath, possibly a psychopath, because to go on a crime spree and pop off and grab a gun, shoot at the police, put a gun to a person's head or bodies just to steal their car means he has no boundaries and he has no conscience. And as I said, he's not the first and he's not the last to do this type of behavior. And sadly, there'll be more women aiding men doing the same damn thing. Thank you all for joining me. I'm going to play you more information pertaining to this baffling story. This is someone's rendition of what they think is going on with Vicky White pertaining to this bizarre story. Dr. Todd Grant. This is his personal case analysis of Casey White and Vicky White.
I'm not diagnosing you in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case. I'll move to the timeline of the alleged crime, then offer my analysis. Casey Cole White was raised in Leicester, Alabama. He played football in high school. His neighbors described him as quiet and polite, but said he was missing a moral checkpoint. According to his attorneys, Casey has an extensive mental health history. In 2010, Casey pleaded guilty to attacking a male relative with an axe handle. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison. Evidently, he did not serve all 6 years because on December 2, 2015, Casey went on a crime spree. He committed a home invasion, 2 carjackings, and multiple shootings in Alabama and Tennessee. In what appears to be a jealous rage, try this strange 10-second technique.
Sorry about that. Had to steal their commercials.
Rage, he tried to murder his ex-girlfriend and kidnap her 2 roommates. He was not successful in killing any people, but he did kill a dog during the attack. He was found guilty of 9 charges, including attempted murder, and sentenced to 75 years in prison. Casey would later say that if he was ever released from prison, he would kill his ex-girlfriend. It looks like Casey needs to polish his parole board speech a little bit. About 2 months earlier, on October 23, 2015, a 58-year-old woman named Connie Jane Ridgway was found dead in her home in Rogersville, Alabama. She had been killed in what appeared to be a home invasion. The police did not know who committed the murder. In September of 2020, Casey White contacted the police to talk about the murder. According to the police, Casey confessed to murdering Connie Ridgway, saying that he was paid to commit the homicide. He was charged with capital murder during a first-degree burglary. Casey was transferred to the Lauderdale County Detention Center to await trial for the charge. He would later recant his confession. The authorities said that there was evidence that corroborated the burglary portion of his story, but not the murder part. Either way, Casey was still going to trial. A woman named Vicky Sue White worked at the detention center as an assistant director of corrections. Her main job was transporting prisoners. Casey White and Vicky White have the same last name, but they are not related. Vicky is 18 years older than Casey. Not long after Casey's arrival at the detention center, he was returned to prison because officials determined he was planning an escape. He was going to use a shank to hold someone hostage. Vicky called Casey several times when he was back in prison. The prison was about 2 hours south of the detention center. Vicky never visited Casey in person in that prison. Casey was returned to the Lauderdale County Detention Center in March of 2021 for a mental health evaluation. Therefore, Casey and Vicky were able to see each other in person again. Casey remained there for 4 months before being returned to prison. Vicky once again called him frequently when he was in prison. On February 25, 2022, Casey was once again transferred to the detention center. The plan was for Casey to remain there until his trial was over. Vicky supplied Casey with additional food as well as other privileges. Some of the other inmates were envious. Vicky scheduled her retirement for April 29, 2022. She sold her house on April 18 for $95,550, which was below market value. She purchased a 2007 Ford Edge and parked it in a mall parking lot not far from the jail. I'm guessing that when Vicky went to buy the vehicle, the dealership didn't have a Ford Escape available. If she had only purchased a Ford Rethink Your Life Choices, maybe this story would have turned out differently. To be fair, it's a very unpopular model these days. Now moving to the timeline of the alleged crime. On April 29, 2022, at 9:41 a.m., 56-year-old Vicky White informed other officials at the jail that she was going to transport 38-year-old Casey White to the courthouse for a mental health evaluation. She said that she was going to an urgent care center after dropping him off because she was not feeling well. There was no mental health evaluation scheduled at the courthouse. The staff at the prison realized that Vicky was violating protocol by transporting the prisoner alone, but did nothing to stop her. At 9:49 a.m., Vicky's cruiser was captured on surveillance video at an intersection about a half mile away from the shopping center where the Ford Edge was parked. Nobody at the jail figured out that anything was wrong until about 3:30 p.m. They could not get a hold of Vicky, and they noticed that Casey never came back to the jail. Vicky's cruiser was found abandoned not long after this. Vicky White was charged with permitting or facilitating escape in the first degree. At the time making this video, Casey and Vicky are still on the run, enjoying their dream life together. The authorities hope that Casey and Vicky will be easy to spot. Casey is 6'9" and is about 330 pounds. Vicky is 5'5" and weighs about 145 pounds. She has what the authorities referred to as a waddling gait. Now moving to my analysis. When this incident was first reported, the authorities believed that Casey White escaped without Vicky White's help, like maybe she was the victim. Soon, the police realized that Vicky almost certainly helped Casey to escape. At no point did anyone assume that Vicky kidnapped Casey, although if she did, that would be an amazing story. This brings me to the question, why would Vicky give up everything to be with Casey, especially considering this situation will probably not end well? Here's what may have happened in this case. This is just a theory, my opinion. After many years of working in the jail, Vicky felt as though her career was not really going anywhere. She was unfulfilled at work, and her romantic life wasn't any better. She spent most of her time transporting prisoners. Over time, she started to empathize with them. She listened to their stories about being innocent and came to believe them. When Vicky first encountered Casey White, she was strongly physically attracted to him. She knew that they shouldn't be together, but she let the fantasy grow anyway. Vicky invested in the relationship. Casey was probably very charming. He would laugh at all Vicky's prison guard jokes. He didn't know where the relationship would go, but he also didn't have many other romantic options. Vicky was able to rationalize the fact that Casey was a prisoner who had confessed to murder. She started thinking to herself, perhaps Casey's confession was false. Maybe he was just misunderstood. Maybe he was manipulated into committing murder. Perhaps he was framed by the police. If he only had the right romantic partner, he could turn his life around. Maybe she could be that love interest, the one who saves him. Each time Casey was returned to the prison, Vicky was upset. She did not want to be apart from him. She couldn't stop thinking about their amazing love. She called him at the prison, and eventually they started planning an escape. Vicky knew that Casey would be transferred back to the jail for his trial. She understood that it didn't matter if Casey recanted his confession, because whether he was found guilty or not guilty, he was still serving 75 years in prison. Vicky knew that she needed to act.
Drinking water before bed burns 4
Sorry
to
about
6
that. Got to get the commercial in.
She was going to be with her one true love. She put the escape plan in motion. She sold her house and bought a vehicle. She probably prepared in other ways as well. Her senior status at the jail meant that she would not be questioned for transporting a dangerous prisoner by herself. She could get away with doing that. As the time of the escape approached, both Vicky and Casey felt excited, but they knew they had to contain their emotions. They needed to act in a non-suspicious manner. Vicky managed to pull off her plan perfectly, but failed to hide her sheriff's vehicle in one of Lauderdale County's many rural areas. Even still, she was able to get a pretty good head start on the authorities. Certainly enough time to switch out of the Ford Edge into another vehicle. Vicky and Casey probably drove to a rural area where there is a reduced risk of being spotted. Moving to the next question, does Casey represent a danger to Vicky? I think it stands to reason that Casey represents a danger to anyone. He has an extensive criminal history, and it's believed that he has access to a rifle, a shotgun, and a few pistols. In addition, Casey's alleged murder victim was a 58-year-old woman. Vicky is a 56-year-old woman. It doesn't seem like a stretch to believe that he would be willing and able to kill her. In order to accurately assess the risk that Casey presents to Vicky, it would be important to know what prompted him to violence in the past. It appears as though his motive for attacking his ex-girlfriend was jealousy, which should not be a problem if he is alone with Vicky in some rural area. I would guess that Casey, at least initially, would be reluctant to cause trouble. He is probably thrilled just to be free, but eventually he will return to his old habits, including being aggressive. Now moving to my final thoughts. I would imagine that over time, Vicky is going to start to realize that she made a terrible mistake.
Yes, I agree.
She will start looking at Casey and seeing a dangerous criminal as opposed to an exciting lover. The 10 years in prison that Vicky is facing will start to look appealing the more time she spends with Casey.
Lord have mercy. Stop.
Similarly, Casey will probably start to devalue Vicky over time. It's a question of who will get devalued faster.
First. Amen.
Whoever gets devalued faster is the one who is in the most danger. I think this case exemplifies the ability for feelings of love and the desire for sex to distort thinking.
Yes.
These forces can outweigh any consequences. At some point, the consequences don't even matter. The person only focuses on the feelings of sexual attraction. There are only a few types of love more exciting than prison escape love, but also a few types more dangerous. One can only hope that Vicky White develops insight quickly enough to save herself from her newfound lover. Those are my thoughts on the case of Casey White and Vicky White. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be as exciting as prison escape love. Thanks for watching.
All right, everybody, that's Dr. Todd Grind. He's in the YouTube queue if you want to check out his content. Hope he doesn't mind me using his content because he had some interesting points. It's just a matter of lust, physical attraction, because he has great points. Their type of lust is going to be different than the lust we have out here because we can see people here and touch them here, have sex with them here, spend time with them here. But it is true, many people have gotten tangled up with people and it was really just sex. It was never love. It was never genuine affection, attention. And I think many women, we know this from dealing with men. The sex is great, but everything else maybe not so. Maybe they have a nasty attitude, narcissist behavior, attitude, disposition, but the sex is great. And sex can get you in trouble, and I think most of us know this. Because what did I just tell you earlier? Not to be disrespectful, but it's common sense. If these two have never had sex, imagine when they first got together. Was it all that they thought it would be? Was he satisfied with her sexually? Was she satisfied with him sexually? Maybe, maybe not. Who's to say? Can he even perform? So you have to think about all those things. Because imagine building up all this thrust inside of you for another human being. You can't wait to touch them, kiss them, hold them, and then you finally get to the do, and it ain't what you thought it was going to be. Now you're in the fold with a not so great lover in the bed. I bet you all never thought about that, did you? You're just thinking about why she did it, if he's going to hurt her. But there's got to be a connection for either to hold on to the other one. And as this doctor has said, somebody's going to tire of the other one first. Who's it going to be? Eventually, he will go back to his old ways if he didn't come out acting like a monkey's ass as soon as he got out. Who's to say? Can you imagine that? He turned on her as soon as the handcuffs and shackles come off. You are a dumb bitch. You just freed a madman. Can you imagine sitting there listening to somebody talk to you like that after you've risked your livelihood, your pension, your relationship with your mother, your comrades, your friends, for them to only sit there and turn on you after you have risked everything? See, this is why I keep saying to you in my lives about people, you don't know people. You don't know Casey White. You don't know Vicky White. And Vicky has most definitely shown the world that nobody knew her. That somewhere deep down inside of this short little woman was a very empty vessel floating around, lusting in behind a murderer. For what damn reason? But for whatever the reason is and are, she exacted it. And now they're out here somewhere amongst regular good folk pretending to be decent people. And that's the scarier part. Besides people not knowing Vicky White and what was going through her head the past couple of months to 2 years. If she is alive, she's out here rummaging around with the damn murderer. 7-foot giant. Dumbo. Pretending to be decent. And that's what a sociopath does. They mimic decent human behavior. But by no means are they decent. What has happened to Vicky? Why did she follow through with this shenanigans? Why forfeit a decent life for a murderer and live on the run? How in the world could this be a peaceful, happy existence? Before you had freedom to roam the earth as you saw fit, you could board a plane, train, or automobile, go wherever you want, retire, get a pension, move, buy a new house, condo, go anywhere in the world freely. Now you've got to be disguised with a 7-foot giant in exchange for both of your heads being targets on a chopping block. How in the world could this be love? T, if you'd like to come up and give your rendition of this mess, please hit the link. Nobody wants to hit the link right now, so it'd be nice if my mod could come up and hit the link and give your opinion pertaining to how Vicky White came to be this infamous little lady out of Alabama. Because as I said, Vicky is the one that is the most focus should be on, because she has fooled everybody by aiding him and lusting in behind him. And as I've said, many people fall prey to lust. The sex is great, but the other qualities that the person possesses are not so great. And I think I can say it myself, speak from personal experience. That's how you become hoodwinked and bamboozled. The sex is great, but there's some other shit that ain't. Perhaps they don't really engage with you like they should. Don't talk to you like they should. Don't spend time with you like they should. Not offering you anything as they should or could. But the sex is great. And we know that sex can drive you to do some crazy stuff. Perhaps such as this here. Go ham, flip out, wig out, shoot people, hurt people, cut people. So that's why I said, did they ever even have sex in the damn jail? Will we ever find out if they had sexual relations in the jail or on a run to the courthouse or somewhere else? Vicky White, you should do yourself a favor and turn yourself in, because this is not going to fare well for you, sweetheart. If you're even alive, do the right thing and turn yourself in. Hello, TZ. How are you today? Hello.
Hey.
What's going on?
Not much. Just chilling.
Okay. Can you talk?
Yeah.
Okay. Run it to me. Boy, you're pausing.
Well, it's one of those things where you, for real, would like to ask that lady, what the hell are you thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for real.
Let's go here before we go into judgment, because I'm not saying what she did is right, but we as people, men and women, have done crazy things for people that we knew didn't mean us no good, knew we really didn't know them, and continued onward. True?
True.
Okay. So let's say they never had sex, but she was enthralled with him, fascinated, as this doctor said, listening to their stories. He's listening to her jokes. But what's the end result going to be once you're alone and realize what you've done and who they are?
I don't know. I mean, considering who he is and what he's done, there's really no telling. All it could take could honestly be her talking about her husband who has passed because he has a jealous bone in him.
Anything.
It could be anything. He could actually set her up to talk to a guy and then get back in him thinking, okay, why did you talk to him? And then there's an argument and she won't even realize what the heck has happened because she really don't know this dude.
She don't know him. And see, that's the scary part of this story, is that she knew willingly who he was. This is not some lady that met some guy on the street and he lied about his past and killing people and shooting up people and carjacking people. They met at the Starbucks and she thought he was a nice guy, didn't do a background check. This woman fully has access to people's criminal backgrounds. She knows what charges they have before they come in. So she willingly took up with a murderer.
Yeah. But just because...
Go ahead.
Just because she's reading his file...
Yeah.
Still doesn't mean she knows him. Even his own ex-girlfriend didn't know him.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but you know that he's killed people and carjacked people and shot up people. So why would you even be interested in somebody? We're not talking about some guy who's got a bunch of parking tickets or even a guy that sold meth or heroin and he's doing a 5-6 year stint. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's totally different. A drug dealer versus somebody who shoots and kills people, stabs people, and now maybe linked to another 31-year-old woman's death.
Yeah.
Let me say this in the chat before you finish, TZ. This Dr. Grant says that she never visited him in jail. They just talked on the phone. Well, there's commentary that I brought you that says that she did visit him and use aliases. If I find that not to be true, I will retract that in my video and put it and pin it in the comment section of my videos. But the information that I've gotten is that she had went to see him in prison using an alias. And I did find that strange because I said to myself, they made it seem like plural. So what aliases could she have used? Because I know you have to take a state ID into a damn prison. They're not just going to let you walk in and, fill the paperwork out, send it in, and then when you show up, not have no valid ID.
But then how could she works at the place she was visiting.
No, I mean when he went back to prison.
Oh, it's a different one.
That's
Okay,
2 hours
okay,
away. Yes, 2 hours away to prison where he originally started his sentence.
Okay.
So he was only coming back here to be arraigned for the 2015 murder of Miss Connie. So he came here the first time, I think stayed 4 months if I'm not mistaken, and then he came back this last time in February of this year. So this is where the question comes into, when did these two start planning this? Was it her idea? Was it his idea? You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
He admitted that he killed the woman, but then he retracted it. So one will have to wonder, was he planning this years ago once he met her and felt like, okay, I got me a dummy, I got me a mule, let me work her, let me work also the system to get my ass back up there. Because when he was here in the fall of 2020, they found information that he was planning a escape with the shank. And that's when they sent him back to Bessemer prison or whatever.
Okay. Okay. Wow. And now they can't find the lady. They can't track her down. They can't. She is as if she's disappeared. Well, both of them.
Well, they're supposed to disappear. They're on the run.
Right, but they can't track her down. There's no trace of them. They just disappear.
Well, see, that's what money can do. That's why I said you don't even know how long this has been going on, how long she's planned this. Because if you sat here and planned this for at least 2 months, 5 months, a year, you've had ample enough time to dot all your I's and cross your T's. Because if she bought a car, sold her house, she possibly also had a getaway place already set up. See, stay woke.
Yeah. Surely she'll at least try to reach out and call her mama.
For what? You know her mother's phone is tapped. They've got the Secret Service involved in this. There's no way she's going to ever call her mother again. No way. Not even from a burner phone from Walmart. No, ma'am.
Yeah, I don't know. My mind is still just blown.
Really? Why? A lady did this before who worked in the prison. Remember the lady that worked in the craft shop and she got one of the inmates out?
But I don't understand. Like, what on earth would make you say, hey, this dude.
The same way you would start talking to a murderer on the cell phone, home phone, start visiting them. The same way.
Just get attached.
Get attached. Same way you let somebody pillow talk you into telling you they murdered their wife, their husband, and you still have sex with them and have a life with them knowing they killed somebody else. Same thing.
That's true, because I mean,
how's it different? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
The only difference is she was a corrections officer, but people hold people dirty secrets every day. So you imagine how many people right now in America know that their mate has killed somebody, was indicted, was involved, was questioned, and you knew the secret to be true, and you still dealt with him or her anyway.
Yeah.
You're still the same. You've seen that time and time again with true crime. When the person finally decides to come out and tell the district attorney, detectives, I've always known he killed her, killed him, killed the kid, buried them. I just never said anything.
I don't know. I just.
Well, let me ask you
it's
this.
Not.
Do you think he'll hurt her or has already harmed her?
Yeah.
Because you know what I said in the chat yesterday and today. What will be really jacked up is sitting beside a person watching the news to see what they're saying about us. And in the commentary, somebody says, I think he may kill her. Can you imagine sitting beside him and he looking at you and you looking at him when that's being said?
I mean, she's already boo-boo the foo anyway.
Yeah, but I'm talking about sitting alone with somebody, T, and you're watching somebody say, I think he will kill her. And you're sitting with the person listening alone.
He'd probably just continue the prison talk and tell me, no, I won't hurt you. And do you think that? And if she's smart, she'd be like, no, I don't think that, because all it's going to take is to trigger him.
Because what's scary is he has the propensity for violence. Anything will pop him off. I mean, he just tried to kill a relative with an axe handle. So what that tell you? years ago.
Yeah. He's just a
And
ticking
it
time
takes
bomb.
more to keep 2 people on the run than 1.
Well, the funds is going to run low.
Yeah. That's why I said, could it be she already had a place set up? Because you got to have a place. You had to have another car besides the one you just bought. You couldn't have thought you were going to stay on the run with that Ford Edge, because somehow law officials found out about that car and released it by mistake to the general public.
Mm.
But you have to have a plan where you're going to sleep, because it's got to be more than just we dump the police car, get into the truck. You know that somebody's going to find out about the truck.
Oh, yeah.
You would have had to buy the truck underhandedly. Now, had she bought it from a chop shop, she might have been able to get away and still drive that damn car around. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. But they're going to have to bounce back and forth between cars anyway.
Well, that's why I said.
Like, it's going to have to be a repetitive thing. And
right.
Not even.
So she wasn't smart about the Edge, is what I'm saying. She wasn't smart about the truck. Because if she had any sense, she should have went a couple of states over
and
bought it.
I don't know. Well, it's like I said, I think it was last night you were talking about it. And I said, well, you know, she doesn't even know if there was another person waiting for him to get out.
Yeah, that's very interesting. You said that. That didn't even cross my mind. So what made you say that?
Because of the way it, to me, I'm like, okay, the cop was not, I feel like she's naive.
Mm-hmm.
He needed to get out.
Yeah.
There's 90 grand.
Yeah.
He probably has someone else waiting for him.
And do you know how cold that would be? Besides him killing her as soon as he got out, but to also have somebody else waiting alongside, murdering her, dropping her, discarding her, and then taking her $95,000 plus, however much she had with her, and be on the run with another woman.
Or man, you don't know. Like,
somebody
you really
in the chat
don't
says
know.
their birthdays are 8/19 and 8/20. Yeah, that's creepy. All this is creepy. If their birthdays in the same month, a day apart, and then they got the same last name.
Well, the birthdays and the last name, that could actually start conversations. And he could have used that.
What you mean?
Use as conversations of getting to get closer to her. And
yeah,
we got the same last name.
How would an inmate know a correction officer's birthday?
All he has to do is be like, my birthday is this. She's naive.
Okay. She starts talking.
There you go. I mean,
well, you know, it's just like what somebody said. She obviously is friendly, because it never should have got to this point to where he would have even been attracted to attraction. There should have been even an attraction to conversate for it to get to where it got to now.
Well, it's one of the, like, to me, she would be an easy prey. You know, and then
she hadn't been. Oh, but listen. You know damn well there's people that work in the prison system that do not let their guard down and conversate, joke or nothing. It's tunnel vision every day, because that's what they're looking for. It's all the same. Mental health facilities, juvenile facilities, halfway houses, rehab centers. I'm looking for a weaker link. So I can get anything I can get extra, which he did, getting extra food. He probably got extra phone privileges, because there's only so much you can get in the jail or prison. And the sheriff let that be known. The life in here is not the same as out there as far as what people will value over what you value in the street. Well, she may think it's fake. We'll see. A teeth fell off.
I didn't mean to drop off.
That's okay. Another thing I noticed, she doesn't have children. Thank God.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine, she left her elderly mother. So imagine if she had grown children. Because she's old enough to be his mother. She's 18 years older than him.
Mm-hmm.
And you heard the commentary by the doctor. He did kill a woman that was 50-something years old. 58. And she's 56. So he doesn't have regard for the not quite elderly, but middle-aged.
Right, but she fits the criteria.
What's the criteria?
Like the age, the age bracket.
Okay. But what's the criteria?
I mean in the age, like his victim was in her late 50s. Old girl is 56.
So let's just say he was messing with that 58-year-old woman at the time. That means he was even younger.
Yeah.
So that's even more scary. Maybe he has an attraction for older women. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, how do you think it's going to end?
They're going to find her body.
Oh, Lord Jesus. I can't believe you say that too.
I hate to say it, but
yeah,
because there's no breadcrumbs. The only breadcrumbs they have was her vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever they're digging up and finding now, because it didn't flag while, before this even happened. But they haven't found any other breadcrumb. They just found the picture of the vehicle, and that's it. He's gone.
Somebody says Vicky had everything to lose. Casey had everything of Vicky's to gain. Yeah, well, Casey to me had more to lose because he was facing the death penalty. She wasn't facing the death penalty. She had freedom. So she really didn't have anything to lose. She chose to behave as if she had something to lose by getting involved with him. But that was a choice of hers to get involved with a murderer. She didn't have to get involved with him. She could have went right out here and tried to date a regular guy like everybody else. That was a choice to get wrapped up with an inmate. That was her choice to get him out of that jail. That was her choice.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't facing the death penalty. She wasn't facing 75 years in prison. He was. Somebody says they believe he has mommy issues. Well, the mother is taking up for him that he's not a monster. So she's enabling her son, and perhaps she's enabled her son over the years, and that's why he's diabolical, because he had a mother who enabled him when he got in trouble. So where is his father? I wonder if he had a father figure.
I don't know.
And the guy speaking, the doctor says the neighbor said he had some type of issues, I guess, with accountability, numb perhaps. Well, that comes from child rearing. See, your identity is formed as a child. So the little things you deal with growing up forms your identity as an adult. So who's to say how he was treated as a child? Maybe not so well.
Right. Product of his raising.
Somebody says sometimes the women fall for the underdog. Yes, he mentioned that. I'll get with him. I'll change him. He'll understand when I step into the picture. He will conform. He's almost 40 years old. Once you get to near 40 and you're still doing frivolous things, you probably won't change. Because his behavior is felonious. We're not even talking about just somebody that lies, make up stuff. Even if you're a liar at 38, you probably won't stop lying.
Right, but like you said, it's not like he was stealing stuff. He killed people.
Yeah, he killed people. Yeah, exactly. He didn't have a problem with running up to you, pulling out a weapon gun, make you give him your car. That's very dangerous. Shot at the police, which you already know is going to give you a lot of time. Even if you miss, you will get more time just shooting at the police than actually killing the damn police. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He did not care. He did not care.
Do you think he's going to go after his ex?
I don't know. I think they have them hidden. They said they've taken precaution, and I believe I heard the other day that they have them have her hid out. And for her own common sense, she should be hidden out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be living in the same place, because you got to remember that woman had access to records to where she could probably pull up somebody's name, birth date.
Yeah. Yeah.
And get their latest address. So really, Vicky is dangerous too. That's what I keep trying to tell everybody. Vicky is more dangerous than him because nobody knew that she was capable of falling for an inmate / murderer and then aid him out. And you don't know all what she's been doing behind closed doors with the tools she has to go into the system and see and check things out. Because that's a very diabolical mind who has access to records, information, birthday, social security numbers. You don't know who else she may have had looking and searching things. See, you have to think about that.
Yeah, you have a point there. She is more dangerous.
What if they already had met up somewhere looking for the girlfriend? See, you don't know.
Yeah, because wasn't there like a 6-hour gap?
Yeah. Could have went to her address first. Even though that would draw more heat on them. But you ain't got nothing to lose. You're on the run any damn way. This woman is crazy.
Do you think they're still like in the same state, or do you think they've done?
No, they're not in Alabama. You'd only be a fool to be still in Alabama. Because they already got a description out of the car, so that would be foolish.
Well, listen to what you were playing earlier. It's mentioned Tennessee. Do you think that they would come up this way?
Of course.
I do too.
The East Tennessee is a great place to hide out because it's mountainous here.
Yeah, and I don't know why, but you already know Sevierville, that it's a traveling attraction.
It is.
Tourist attraction.
And most people and anybody that lives in the South knows about East Tennessee, Sevier County, Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. You can easily hide out up here because it's mountainous. You could just blend in, put your mask on, your cowboy hat. You don't talk, mind your damn business.
And it don't matter if you're tall or short, you're still going to blend in.
Right, because this is what people don't understand. They don't have to be seen together. That's the assumption. They're going to be out walking around. Why the hell would they be walking around when you already know he's 7 foot tall, she's 5'5"? They're not going to be seen together. If indeed he keeps her around, she will be the one doing all the errand running, getting stuff, shopping, eating, getting the food. You're never going to see him.
And the hair dye, you really wouldn't recognize her. She would blend in.
Because she can do what she's never done, and that's probably put war paint on.
Yeah.
Put on some fake eyelashes, put a mask on, baseball cap. You're not going to know who she is.
You know, that could actually be her doing all this could actually be like a thrill to her.
Of course, because she had a whole hum life. My mother said she did the same thing every day. She came home from work. She came to my house. She ate dinner, probably walked her dog, went back home, and started her day over. Can you imagine doing that every day, 15, 16 years? You didn't go out anywhere. You didn't shop. You didn't take trips. You didn't go abroad. You didn't go to the theater. You didn't find other things to enjoy your time. You're just stacking your paycheck for nothing. And you have people who live like that. That's their choice.
She might as well, if she's alive, and she might as well just turn yourself in.
Yeah. You see how the sheriff is talking like she's a child. Come on in now. Just turn yourself in. I thought, you know what? It's that attitude you have, sheriff, is what got you in this mess in the first place.
Yeah, they've done it.
But they're too lax. The system is lax there in Alabama. And I've seen too many cases recently that I've covered where the judicial system is lax, where the judge is giving certain inmates bonds, and then they went out here and killed people, like with the Nia Blanchard case. The boy had been in trouble from state to state, and you gave him a bond to go out here and kidnap that girl. So had you had locked him up, he would have never had a chance to kidnap her and damn near kill an elderly man. See where I'm going? Beat an elderly man in a hotel, put him in a car. They said the man was damn near dead when they found him inside of the car with his friend. You still gave him a bond, and then months later, he ended up kidnapping Nia Blanchard at a filling station. And he killed her, threw her out on the side of a highway in Alabama. And I told everybody to sign the petition for that judge to have her removed because she had no right to give him a bond when he beat the 78-year-old man damn near to death.
Right.
So, dirty judges, lax security systems. Because let's look at the picture here. They said, we decided to let inmates be carried on by 2 correction officers because he had a shank back in 2020. Well, what good does it do if he ended up getting walked out of the damn thing with a corrections officer without an extra party because she was in a position where nobody questioned her? Then it didn't mean nothing to have a protocol to say, well, I got to have 2 people to escort the prisoners to and fro if you gave her a pass to be the only one to escort them out. Don't you find it strange there was nobody else around when they were coming out of that damn door?
I've watched that, and to me, I was like, wait, she wasn't even in there long at all. Yeah.
He's coming out behind her like, Pookie coming out behind his girlfriend.
Yeah, because I'm like, wait a minute, did she not have to go in and then they bring him down or anything? Like she just walked in?
No flinching, just door 1, door 2. He's behind her all the way from the damn door.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And to me, I was like, okay, so did she call and have someone to go ahead and pull him? And then why wouldn't they double check to make sure if she's like, hey, I'm on my way?
And that's why I said something don't add up because you trying to make us believe that she's doing 5, 6 different positions. Because you're not going to make me believe just because she's a transporter, she's also the person that fills out the paperwork too.
Right.
Who's the person that makes the initial paperwork for them to go wherever they need to go?
See, that's something I couldn't understand because, like I said, I watched the video and I'm like, okay, she for real went in and then came out immediately as if he was just standing out on the other side of the door, like you said, waiting for her, who removed him from his cell.
That's why I
brought him down.
What is her actual position? Because somebody had to put on a piece of paper that he was to go out of that jail to the courthouse. So they said that was not corroborated, that wasn't true, that he was supposed to go for a mental evaluation. Okay, but still somebody had to have processed him out of the jail.
Yeah.
You couldn't just go in, open the door, say, come on, we're going to the courthouse. Then you go through this door, that door, and then you still should have been able to go through to somebody to say, I'm checking out Casey White to go to the courthouse for a mental evaluation. Well, then there should have been a document that shows he was leaving out of there at a certain time, that it was expected. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Kind of like when you get ready to go out of the jail to leave, there should be a document that shows that you're exiting at such and such 12 hours, blah, blah, blah.
Right. That's, I mean, because that's what has been sticking to me was you telling me that nobody knew?
We know that she's a director. We're saying paperwork. Paperwork is what we're talking about.
Like that part blew my mind.
Some people are saying that they weren't married, blah, blah, blah. But the news is not saying that they weren't married because it would make no sense for the news to mention an ex-husband. That would be of no value to mention her ex-husband died if she wasn't married or living with him. I don't really know. But let's just say she was actually married because there's conflict in that. What's the truth about how he died? Woo, woo, woo. Could that have set her off being married and her husband died?
What? Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, repeat that.
I said, if indeed this man was her husband, they were living together, that also means that she was living with him while she was dating this guy or talking to him. How were they talking then? Since now this doctor is saying she didn't visit him. So let's say she didn't visit him. She had to have been taking phone calls from him. So if you're living in a house with your husband, where are you getting the phone calls from? Where, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We're in a day of cell phones. So you're either getting it through the landline or a cell phone. That means you'd have to get up and remove yourself to go talk to him. If you went to the prison, that means you'd have to left and told your husband you were taking a 2-hour trip to go do what? He wouldn't ask.
I don't know. I have no idea how she would have done that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we know people hold secrets.
Yeah.
We know people lie to their spouses all the time. But all I'm saying is, if we're to believe he called her on the phone at her house at some point in the 2 years, if she was married, how were you hiding the phone calls? 2, if she did indeed go up to the prison in the past 2 years, what did you tell your husband where you were going?
I don't know. I don't even know when her husband died.
This year. This year. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know when she did all this stuff. I don't know. I don't know. Because you would have to juggle all of that around. You'd have to lie. You'd have to.
That's why her
say,
mother
I'm going
said,
here and there.
That's why her mother said she never told me anything, and his mother said the same thing. He never told me about her. He said he had a pen pal, but he didn't tell me. Let's talk about the pen pal situation. Who's to say, like you said, she wasn't the only one he had been talking to? Because men who are locked up do not talk to just one woman.
No, they're like that. They will have several pen pals.
Exactly. They need money on the books. They have to eat every day. They have expenses every day. So you need more women to talk to hope you can get a fool to send you money, send you gifts. That's the game. Everybody knows that. And like you said, what if there was somebody else waiting on him? Hell, more than one. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, even as his freedom and 20 grand, split it 4 ways, get rid of Vicky. There's no telling how many people could be involved.
Well, that's true.
Like, there's really no telling.
Yeah.
You know, and then you got the investigators. They're just trying to figure out.
But I wouldn't be dealing with too many people because people talk. And then, 2, there's a reward. So as time goes by, the reward is going to go up. Right now, it's at 15,000. 5 is for her, 10's for him. So I definitely wouldn't want to be dealing with people who could turn me in.
Right.
So I think he would deal with least amount of people as not to be apprehended if he's smart.
No. I don't know. I just want to shake her. That's all I want to do.
Well, she might be
like, you crazy lady.
She might be shook already.
She helped release a devil's spawn.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the sad part, is that Vicky White is the ultimate con, because she fooled people for God knows how long, depending on how long they plan this. And as I said, who's to say it wasn't all her idea? You just don't know. It don't have to be just he manipulated her, coerced her. She could have easily had an attraction for him as soon as she saw him. You don't know.
Right.
Because you don't have conversations from either party to say who initiated conversation, who said what to whom first, who made a flirtation. You don't know because you don't have them talking. Marilyn says they read the letters that came in. Well, true. But if she's using an alias, you're not going to know that a director was writing to an inmate. Because she could actually use the P.O. box. She could have used her real address. You got to remember, they live 2 hours or so away. The prison system don't know that woman as a director of that jail. Why would they know that? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
She could have easily used a different name, and she could have used the P.O. box.
If that's the case, then wouldn't she have had to known him even longer?
Well, he went to the jail in 2020. So they're dating it back to 2020 when he first went there to be arraigned for the crime of murdering that woman. So that's her first dealings with him that they know of. Now, I can't speak of if she knew him before he ever got to that jail.
See, now, don't that make you wonder who made the first move then?
Yeah, that's why I keep telling everybody, you can't just say
Like, what
it's just
in the
him.
world?
You can't just say it's just
Yeah.
him. There are women who are attracted to men in prison. So who's to say she's not a hot mama? You don't know because you don't know her.
Right.
You don't know what that woman's been doing. You have no idea what she's been doing in the 16 years she's worked for the jail system. You don't know if she's talked to other inmates in the United States. You don't know if she's visited other inmates. You don't know if she's got made fake IDs. You don't know what that woman's been doing. And I got a feeling more is going to probably come out about her.
Yeah, because
eventually they're going to track her
not
phone records, and they're going to go on her phone records to see everything she was logging on to, logging into. There's probably a whole lot to Vicky White nobody really knows.
Yeah, because that it don't make sense of suddenly poof she does this.
No.
2 years prior, she was writing him in pen pal and going and seeing him.
I got a feeling she was going to see him because that information has come out on other networks. And I'm not saying that they couldn't have made a mistake, but so far I haven't heard anybody retract that she did not go visit him. But the doctor comments, the doctor's video I just played, Mr. Grant, he's saying she didn't go visit him. That it was just him calling her. So I don't know where he got his information from. Either way, whether she visited him or not, they had contact. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it led to her getting him out of the damn jail.
She for real?
Yeah, as they say, she went all the way.
Yeah.
Well, imagine her being somebody's mother. This is a woman who would leave her own children, even if they were adult children. She would forfeit a relationship with her children to be with a man. She left her mama.
Well, my thing is, she's actually, and she could have possibly put her own mama's life in danger. He could kill her and come back again and kill her mama. You don't know this man.
But why would he kill her mother?
I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't know this dude.
Yeah, but he's
you
not.
Don't know what he would do.
One thing I think we know for sure, he ain't coming nowhere back near Alabama.
No.
He's not
No. No, he's gone.
So where do you suspect that they are? New York, California, Midwest?
I would say
you gotta remember
this
about
way.
these two that we know of. We know she's probably never lived up north in the city where it's harsher weather, harsher crimes, harsher dealings. So she's a southern girl. I don't think she knows how to mingle and mix in a place where you got to keep your mouth closed and keep your head to the ground.
There would be probably somewhere off grid if they're smart.
Yeah, but guess what? Like they said with the Unabomber, he got caught because he needed food and he had to come out that damn mountain. So that's why I said, did she buy enough food products, toiletries, deodorant? So you got to have all that. Water, all that. So you don't have to be going in and out of the stores. Clothes. Did she buy clothes? Did she buy disguises?
All you need is an RV and
Did she
your
have to buy
supplies.
a wig, change her hair? You got to change your hair quick as soon as you jump in that car. You had to put a different hair on. You don't have time to go wash your hair and color your hair. So you have to think about all those type of things.
Also, well, and I'll say it. You also got to keep in mind they're looking for a tall ass dude. Doesn't mean he can't be a tall ass woman.
Well, that's
I'm gonna say it.
You're right, because we have seen criminals who did it. The guy who killed the girlfriend in New York many years ago, when they found him out in Texas, Louisiana. Well, when he was in Texas living in a rooming house, he was dressed as a woman.
So I mean, there's the way things is now. There's ways of escaping.
All I can say is, at 7 feet, them some big ass good shoes.
Oh, because if drag queens can do it, he can do it.
But guess what? Hey, he got to be wearing damn near a size 15 shoe.
Mm-hmm. They make
I
them.
don't know. No, listen, I ain't seen a 15 woman shoe nowhere. I don't know no drag queen with no damn size of 15 damn shoe.
Lord have mercy.
That'd be a mean package coming in the damn mail from FedEx. My grandma, what big feet you have. You got that right.
To stick with some big ass boots or something. I don't know what to tell you.
But see, that's another thing you ain't thought about. I told you. She's had to prepare for everything. Clothes, shoes, underwear, socks, a disguise. You think he's just still walking around in that outfit? She had to go buy pants to fit him. Socks, shoes. She's had to prepare for this.
They changed clothes roughly about 30 minutes after they left.
But that's my point. She still had to have something for him to wear. See, people just look at she opened the gate and let him out. Well, he still got to have something to where he can be not discovered. So we're into day 7 now. So that means she had to have gone and found him some big boy breeches, big boy shirts, big boy hats. See where I'm going? Big boy drawers, so they could have clothes.
This is 2 years in the planning, like you said. She's got a lot of stuff already planned and prepped up.
Of course, because there's no way she just, even in a couple of days, you couldn't have done this because you need time to have sold the house, found the car, clothes, shoes, toiletries, all that. She would have been running around ragged after work to get all this stuff together.
Yeah, there's a home somewhere.
It'd be just like packing for a trip. Running to the store to buy this, running to the store to buy that. You see what I'm saying? Running to here, running to there. She had to do all the stuff with the house, what she did weeks ago, closing the house. She's been staying with her mother for about several weeks. So she's been busy. You know she's been busy.
All you can do is pray. Pray for her mama. That's all you can do. I still get speechless because I'm like, you got to be a dumbass.
But we do dumb stuff for people all the time. You know that.
I mean, co-sign for a car or something. Or let the dude drive your car. But freeing a freaking killer?
Please don't say drive your car. Please don't make me testify.
Like, freeing a killer.
Don't do nothing for nobody. How about this? How about do nothing for anybody? Don't free nobody. Don't hang with murderers. Don't hang with people who molest, rape people, shoot people, kill people. Don't loan your car out. Don't go co-sign for a car. Don't buy nobody no car. Don't let nobody drive your car. They ain't got a fucking driver's license. Don't let nobody drive your car that's inebriated. Don't do nothing for nobody. Let everybody take care of their own damn selves. How about that?
That's actually it right there.
Several months into the new year, take care of yourself. Don't worry about nobody else. Because as I just said, this is an extreme case of lust for a man. But we as people have all made mistakes on behalf of a man or a woman. You have trusted people you did not know. You have trusted people who did not treat you well, and you lost at some point, be it money, be it physical altercation, mental abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, stolen from. It's all the same. It's just he was a damn murderer and in a fucking jail. That is it. But you can be used and manipulated in a different way. And people are every single day. You go out here and go out your way for people. You offer them things and they stab you in your fucking back. All because you're attracted to them. You like them. You feel like you need them. Whatever the situation is. Because I don't know what her actual feelings are for him. Because I'm not her. I can't say.
Right.
But she's done the ultimate betrayal to herself because she's giving up her own livelihood. Just like right now, you can go out here and do something for somebody, like we said, co-sign for a loan, a car, loan out something to them, your house keys, your car, they burn your house down, they steal from you, their friends steal from you. You can recoup all that back, but you can't recoup your fucking freedom back. That's totally different.
Right.
You can't go back with your freedom. Worst case scenario, you co-sign for a loan, you're stuck with the fucking loan.
Right.
You get a credit card for somebody, you give them access to a credit card, they run up the credit card. You get a loan for them, they don't pay you back. That's not the same as giving up your freedom. Your freedom is totally different. They're all foolish mistakes, but your freedom you can't get back, because who knows how much time she's facing when she's apprehended, if at all they find her. She right now could probably face 20 to 25 alone for aiding a fucking felon. And then they'll tack on other charges pertaining to her job title.
All right.
She'll die in there. She'll wish she was dead anyway. And as this doctor has said in his commentary, by now she's probably seen signs that Mr. Casey White is not so nice. And who's going to be the first one to tire of the other one? Because it's expected. Because it happens out here when we're free.
Right.
You like a person, you're enamored today, but 5 days from now, they're kind of getting on your nerve. They're kind of doing shit you don't like. They're saying stuff to you out of the way, but you're still holding on. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because we do it all the time as people. Hold on to bums. Promise ourselves what we're not going to stand for, put up with, allow, and then next thing you know, years later, we're back in the same situation with a new victim. You got to know your worth. You got to know your worth. Because as I said, this is going to happen again somewhere in America. This will happen again because we as people fall prey to bullshit. We allow ourselves to get wrapped up with people who we know we have no business dealing with, whether they are a murderer or not, locked up or not, felon or not. You all have been in situations with people who you had no business dealing with. And you became a victim some sort of way.
That is true.
Everybody has done it. Nobody on earth can say they did not deal with somebody they had no business dealing with. She just knew damn better because of her position.
I think that's what's the big deal to me, and what makes me like, what in the world, is because, like, girl, you an officer.
Yeah, well,
and I understand it. You know, they do that, and females do. I get that, but why?
Yeah, but
you know, like why,
to me, it's no different than you being head of corrections of the ward, sleeping with an inmate, having sex with an inmate, giving privilege to an inmate. It's all the same. Getting an inmate pregnant, how's that any different?
Yeah,
you know
like,
better.
Why? Yeah, like why on earth?
There's people out here that you can go walk and hook up with at a bar, online, at the Starbucks. Why are you at your job wanting to screw somebody on your job?
It's abuse of authority, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, but you're also risking your own job. You know how hard it is to get a damn job?
Yeah.
And once you do a job in corrections, police work, you aren't getting ready to go get no better job than that. Unless your ass go to a 4-year institution to where you can get you a salaried job, a professional job. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
But people take risks on their jobs every day in authoritative positions. This has been going on since the beginning of time. Man has always thrown his weight around to get what he wants. Woman too. Abuse of power started the world. That's how you end up having slavery, is abuse of power. You made a decision to enslave a man, woman, or child because you were able to get a following. People do it all the time. And it's going to continue, as I have said. This will not be the last time someone in an authoritative law official capacity will manipulate, con, forge documents, lie, steal, defraud.
No, it won't. It won't be the first, but
because she is not the first person to aid a man out of prison. A woman did it years ago. She just wasn't in a law official capacity, but she was a trusted person who came to work in the prison. What was her problem? Because it's just like what this doctor said. You're with them every day, listening to their problems. They're listening to you. You're building a rapport with these people. You're now starting to feel sorry for them. You're now having empathy for them. And now you are identifying with the prisoners. When you are supposed to be stoic, not mean to them, but you are stepping out of character.
Right.
And you're not staying in line with your job. And that's what she did. She stepped out of line. She started looking at Casey White as her equal.
Right.
And he was not. But the mindset, obviously, they were, because they are now on the run. The energy she has taken and focused on a murderer, she could have been out here trying to meet a decent man. See, that's why you know her mind is jacked up. Because think about all the energy she has put into dating him, talking to him, messaging him, probably sending him money, when she could have been out here dating a regular Joe.
Right.
Meeting and greeting, traveling to different places to go out to eat, dinner. She could have met a man in New York, California, abroad. She wasted her time on a fucking felon.
Well, now that that phrase you used, evenly yoked.
Evenly yoked.
She is now evenly yoked with him. Or is it that she's always been evenly yoked?
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. At some point, she became attracted to him. When, I do not know. How long it took, I do not know. But she did. And you have to admit, it was an intricate plan for him going back and forth, coming up here to be arraigned for court. And I believe he saw an opportunity to get his ass out of that jail.
Did he see it or did she?
But that's why I said you're never going to know. So you don't even know who orchestrated this.
Right.
The assumption is he baited her. He lied. He manipulated. But you don't know Vicky White. She's shown you she's not who you think she is. So you don't know if she's the type that was eyeing the men in the jail, eyeing her co-workers, flirting with the men. You don't know her.
Right. Because I know at first when this first broke out, I was like, oh my goodness, this officer is now a hostage and they need to hurry and find her. And then it got out, or it was like updated to.
But once they showed the video, you already knew it was hanky because it wasn't protocol. One person walking out, and then you're letting the suspect walk.
Yeah, and
behind
then
you.
Once I heard that there was no plan for him to go, like that, he didn't have an appointment of anything, any kind, of any way. I was like, oh no, she doesn't help him. But at first, like your first instinct was for real. Damn, she done got caught up in this bull crap, and
maybe he overpowered.
Yeah, because she was by herself. Because at first they even said, well, only one person went, and then more of the more of the shit came out, and I was just like, this girl for real did this.
Yeah, she did.
And then you find out her position, and you're like, okay, yeah, this is getting even worse than
that part is that she didn't think enough of herself that she didn't value her own self-worth. Because as I said, we've all made mistakes with men, but as I said, it wasn't a matter of freedom. But if you get in the wrong cahoots with a person, your freedom could be just as put on the table as well, depending on how far deep you get in with another human being. Because many people are incarcerated and dead because of the men they have fooled with.
Right.
You can get dead now.
She honestly probably already knew that her life was over as soon as she was getting feelings. There's no way as an officer and you get feelings with a dude and you're going to think.
Listen, you can get feelings for somebody, but you didn't have to take it this far. Everything was still a choice. Nobody told her to break him out of jail. I don't care if she was physically, sexually attracted to him. So what? You could be attracted to your neighbor, but it's up to you how far you're going to take that. Your coworker, your boss. In the end, you still have self-control.
Right.
She can't never say, he made me do this. He forced me. How can he force you? He's locked down in a prison cell, jail cell. No, you chose to engage with your inmate.
Yep.
Even when you're free, it's the choice to continuously date somebody that don't mean you well, sleep with them, do things for them. It's all a choice. That's why I keep trying to tell people, when you see the signs that shit ain't right with somebody, man, run like hell.
Right.
Because people get duped every day dealing with people. You have nasty people out here that are foul. I've learned personally, you can't be nice to people. You can't do things for people. They will stab you in your fucking back, stab you in your chest, pull the knife out and wipe the blood on your shirt.
And smile as they do it.
Huh?
I said, and smile while they do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It happens every day. They're just not directors of transport. That's all.
Yeah. They're not up on higher standards. I don't know. But Queen, I'm going to jump down. I'm now starting to feel dizzy.
Oh, we're going to bed. I'm going to go ahead and end this live.
Okay.
All right.
I love you, and I'll see you on your next live.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was T, everybody. I want to thank you all for joining me. I'm 2 hours and 12 minutes in. I'm not going to keep you all. But as most of you know, today is a new day. It's Friday here in America, in most parts of the United States, if you're on the Eastern Seaboard. And Vicky White was a corrections official at an Alabama jail. She is now on a run with an inmate by the name of Casey White. Both have the same last name, but they are not related. I do not know how long she conspired with Mr. White on this ruse to get him out of jail. I do not know who was the orchestrator. I did make a live about that yesterday. Please check the library for that previous video I did. I do not know who said what to whom first, who flirted with one first. I don't know. But I do know his first encounter at that jail was in fall of 2020, where he had a shank, where information came back to the jail. He had a shank, which is a knife, and he was sent back to his prison for that said weapon. And he was orchestrating a escape then. Whoever brought that information, I do not know. How they got it, I do not know. But that is what has been released by the sheriff. He has been going back and forth to this said jail for arraignment hearings for the murder of Connie Ridgway. That is how he came to be at this jail facility with Vicky White. He came back this February of 2022 because his lawyers needed to be able to have access to him with computers, said information to work on the trial. So I do not know when these two began to conspire, but that is the main thing I have said pertaining to this storyline. When did the two conspire? Who was the orchestrator? Could it be she orchestrated everything without even telling him? Put him in the car and then said, voila, baby, you're free today. Come on, let's roll. Did she ever go visit him in the prison? Some information says yes, but the doctor who commentary I played in the live tonight says no, she never went to visit him. I don't know what is the truth. I'm not here to argue what she did and didn't do this year or last year, because all of that is null and void at this point. He's on the run. She's on the run. Is she alive? I do not know. Is he alive? I do not know. Where they're located? I do not know. What color, make, model car they're in? I do not know. Did others help in the jail? I do not know. Did other people know about it in the jail? I do not know. Did other outsiders know? I do not know. Did others outside aid them? I do not know. But at some point, the truth will come out to when these two started talking, conspiring, phone records, apps, something will be leaked out. Did she use aliases to go see him in the prison? That was said. But as I said, this doctor's commentary is saying she didn't visit him, just phone calls only from the prison to her. But as I said, if she was married, how was she talking to a man on the phone if she was married? If she was actually married, how did she go visit a man 2 hours away? What would she have told her husband where she was? See, those are all the questions you ask. The who's, the where's, the why, the when. Because you're always going to wonder, how did it come to be that Vicky White got herself in this situation with a murderer? Because like I said, this is not some random bloke that sold some heroin, meth, got tangled up for a 5-6 year sentence, is going to be free. And he fell in love with this woman, vice versa. It's much deeper than that. She broke an oath. She broke protocol. She sold herself to the devil to give up a life that she could have had. Maybe it seemed boring to her. But what Vicky White doesn't understand is that there is somebody on the outside looking at her and possibly envied the life she had. She was a homeowner. She had a decent job. She had a car. She had freedom. And she forfeited all that for a murderer who is now being linked to possibly another murder of a 31-year-old woman who has been deemed death by suicide. But her parents, family don't believe she killed herself. So indeed, are we now talking about another murder by the hands of Casey White? And the sick part of this story is that Vicky White knew his past, had access to his past, his personal information in a computer, access to possibly other people's personal information. Who knows what she's been doing on behalf of Casey White? See, the rabbit hole may be deeper than you think. Because as T said, who's to say that Casey White didn't have a little funny games going on? Perhaps he had other women waiting for him on the outside. How devastating would that be to find out Casey White had another woman waiting on him out there to double juggle and hustle Vicky White out of her damn money. Stay woke. Hey, babe, we're going to use this bitch to get me out of here. I'm going to woo her and make her think I like her. See if she'll help me break out of here. I ain't going down for that murder of that woman. I ain't going to do the 75 years I was sentenced to for the 2015 spree. I got to get out of here. The walls are closing in on me. I want my freedom back. And I'll do whatever I have to do to get out of here. And I got a cute little blonde, 5'5", that can get me out of here. And let's just say he put that ball into motion. It worked. Now, the ultimate question is Vicky White still alive? Because that would be the ultimate betrayal, that Vicky White forfeited her job, her retirement, her relationship with her mother, comrades, her freedom for a murderer to only turn on her once she got him out of jail. That would have been the ultimate betrayal. Because in the end, Vicky White did not know Casey White. Vicky White didn't even know herself. And as this doctor has said in this commentary, in his analysis of the two, that eventually one of them will realize they made a mistake in bringing the other one in for the ride. And who will be the first to decide they made a mistake, turn on the other one, and or want to bail out. You see, Casey White wanted out. He's the biggest loser because he's facing death perhaps in his crimes. So he wanted out. He had a reason to want to break out. She didn't have to do this. She had her freedom. She had a job. Her job wasn't in jeopardy. She wasn't arrested for any said crimes. No warrants out for her arrest before breaking this man out. So everything she did was a choice. He had the most to lose. That is why he broke out with the aid of Vicky White. But the sick part will be she loses her life in exchange for helping him get out and possibly bring in others to take her place and use and take all her money. And imagine losing your life because you fell in love with a murderer who winked at you and talked sweet nothings to you, baited you, used you to get him out of jail. She left behind an elderly mother, which shows how cruel she actually is. She had no regard for herself and no regard for her mother. And as I've always told the women in this chat, that a man cannot love you or a woman can't love you if they don't love themselves. So one can see how she never even loved her own mother because she was stupid enough to aid this man out of jail, which showed she had no respect for herself and no love for herself. So she couldn't have loved her own mother and she couldn't have loved Casey White. Because how can you love somebody else when you don't love yourself? This is my said commentary pertaining to who is Vicky White. Day 7, she and Casey White are still on the run. Thank you, Carol. If you have any information to the whereabouts of Casey White, Vicky White, please call your local authority and the FBI or the Secret Service. You can remain anonymous. Do not approach these two individuals if you see them or think you see them. Do not take pictures. Do not pull out your cell phone to film them. Do not end up a victim and a news story for the news. It is not worth it to be a hero either. This is real business. These are real machines who will take your ass out. Don't be a hero. Just go call the police. If you'd like to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you all so much for joining me. I will be back on later today to talk about where this case is going, day 7, what new leads law officials have in pertaining to these two individuals. News Nation will be doing a 1-hour special pertaining to Casey and Vicky White on the run. Please tune into News Nation. It is a great network of information and commentators bringing forth the said information of daily events and breaking news here in our country. Anything that I find, I will post it to my community board throughout the day. Any stories I do not cover on my network, I post to my community board. If you like a movie of the week, please check out my suggestions. Second movie of the week is Above Suspicion, based on a true crime out of Pikeville, Kentucky. Thank you all so much for joining me, following the content. New subscribers, old subscribers, and guests, and those just dropping in to hear the content. Prayers for the victims. Connie Ridgway's son, he's a victim because his mother was brutally murdered by the hands of Mr. Casey White. And he's praying that this man is apprehended to stand trial for his mother's death. And most of you know he has denied killing her, retracted his confession. And I do believe that was his ruse to get up here to Alabama, to where she worked, to get himself out. And he got out. Perhaps in the end, both Casey White and Vicky White were underestimated. And that is the thing about not knowing people. You do not know the human mind, and you do not know what people are capable of until it's too late. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. You all have a wonderful weekend.